Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing BIOS Origins. So we've seen the first couple of turns, 3 or so, or rounds, let's say that way. And well, all of the players have managed to reach the menopause stadium, so they only have 2 or less pawns in their emotions on the brain placard. And the first players managed to get some ideas. The Denisovan, he ended up with I don't know what that was. I think it was the jewelry. And this guy had the tally sticks here, the Hobbit. We've also seen the first conflict, although it was more of a religious conflict. This guy, the Denisovan, is on a mission, we can say, and he already converted one of the Hobbit's pawns or migrants into one of his own. So that also means that the Hobbit is now sitting here on a single spot, totally reduced on the map, while all the others have clearly more, especially than the Denisovan. He also has room to expand that the others don't have. We see here the Neanderthal is kind of stuck here in Northern Europe. It's a little hard to see the white ones, especially here on camera. You can see here, there, and there, and there. And the Homo sapiens, he's got a lot of room in Africa, but there's also not that much room to expand. It looks a little bigger than it is because of these climate chits here. However, the Denisovan might get a chance, if the ice doesn't come earlier, to make it to America, maybe. So it's Homo sapiens again with his action, and again he does a specialized action and he brings his pawn here on the hafting. That would allow him to upgrade his metallurgy, and then he could go to war. And he can use that thing because he's industrial. And then he could go to war, and that would be enough to also kind of protect him a little bit from these preach actions of the other guy, because if he would dare to preach, he would make himself also vulnerable to attacks, to counterattacks. And I guess he better avoids that. Okay, then he could spread. Question is, can he? I think there is no more room for him. So I guess no spreading there. So that's it. That's the actions of Homo sapiens. And then the Denisovan. Well, he also has got a pawn in his free will. So it's an interesting choice for him. In which direction is he going? I think he probably will try also to get another prayer. So if he also goes on the totems, then he gets the Eureka for the prayer. That's probably more interesting for him than trying to grab the hafting or the fire stack farming. He cannot use that because he doesn't fulfill the requirements. And yeah, because he's on this preaching trip here, I think that's definitely where he wants to go. And now it's an interesting choice, but I think we want to try to go. We could either attack, well, actually we could do both, because we still have 2 actions left. The spread action, and then we can do the preach action if we wanted to. And I think first I want to go from here to this and try to cross the Bering Street here in Beringia. And then we can do some preaching. And yeah, I'm not sure, do I want to leave this guy here? Do I want to allow him to sit here? But he's very restricted here. Or do I want to try to push him further away? He can use the, I mean, if I convert him, we said that last time, then this would be his last pawn. So he could then start, or his last migrant. So then he could do what's called the diaspora action, which is basically a spread without any climate restrictions, or he could also spread over me or something. So he could, or also no maritime restrictions. The only restriction is the energy. So he could move then 3 spaces from there in any way he want. He could go to Australia, for example, cross the water here, that would then be legal. He could go to Japan, the 2 waters here. But especially Australia looks tempting for him, because there he could start all over again. He's got not a lot of space, but he definitely has 2 spaces. There would be space for 2 migrants. So in the end, it's kind of an improvement for him if I kick him out there. On the other hand, it gives me a space, right? It gives me 1 additional space if I do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I should do it. You know, actually, I think I do it. Why not? It gives me another space. So I'm going to push him 1, 2, 3. I go here. And now he goes into diaspora. And of course, he doesn't go to Japan. He only sits on a single hex there. And it's not even totally controlled by him. So I think instead he moves 1, 2, 3 spaces down here to Australia. And yeah, now that's basically his new home. And yeah, obviously because of the water here, I cannot follow him. So our Neanderthal player sits there in the north of Europe. The first thing he does is, and he's got now an interesting choice to make. He could either say, hey, now I want to challenge the gods. And I'm really thinking about doing it, because but I probably have to spend this elder then. The problem is because it could give me some advantages. It's very hard to see, but right? I mean, right now we don't know what it does, but we could get some extra actions, and yeah, sometimes it can do you some good. However, we could also grab this card instead. We would get an additional prayer, an additional mysticism, which is good. And especially because if this guy takes the card, he will also get an additional mysticism. And then I'm vulnerable to his preach actions. So maybe I shouldn't allow that. And I mean, I kind of feel a little bit stuck, you know. I don't have any actions. I don't have anything going on except of pushing my mysticism a little bit. So I really don't know, but I think I'm going to try it anyways. I think I'm going to take it, and I'm not going to challenge the gods. It seems too risky to not be able to be vulnerable to his preaching. So we're going to both take our elders back, and then we both get some new guys in mysticism. And I can keep the cards now, or the card, and gonna place it underneath here. A problem with the card is that, I mean, it allows me also to preach, which is kind of, that's kind of neat, but the problem is, if I preach, I suffer chaos. That's different with him, you know, he can simply preach, and there's no bad consequence. If I preach, I suffer chaos, which means I would have to spend place one of my migrants here on a rainbow space, and because I only have a single rainbow space with such a silhouette, because I only have one, I can do that only once. And if it would happen a second time, I would end up in a revolution, and that is something which is not terribly bad, but in this specific case, I would lose a few more pawns and all. I think I really don't want to do that. So therefore, I have an action now that I probably don't want to use. But I got the mysticism, and that protects me against his preaching actions, because he needs a higher mysticism. But black is clearly in danger now, but he goes for war, and then that might protect him, you know. If he's stronger on the military side, people might not be too interested in approaching him about any controversies over God, right? So we go to the hobbits, and he's got now 2 of these guys in his free will. So he can now try to get these cards without help from anybody else. So I guess he might go for the flint fire starting. I think that's what I want to do. It brings me a little up in energy. I get an artisan action, which allows me to kind of bring an additional 1 elder into play. It's a little bit like the invent action, like the specialize action, where you can bring also elders into play, but there you can only bring a single one into play, but it's not bad. This one allows me to build cities, and yeah, that's again the art action, which has not a lot of use for me, because I could bring a mysticism to my free will, but that isn't terribly interesting, obviously, because I don't have anybody there. But still, I think this could be an interesting card for me. And, well, let's see, as a second action, I could spread again. Now I gotta see if I think I actually want to move here simply, because then I could move with another guy, for example, here. And now I got a third action, and that third action allows me again to either move this track 1 space ahead, or to bring 1 guy from vocabulary to free will, and this is what I want to do. I now have the option to place a 3rd elder, which is pretty good especially with the artisan action. That's a cool thing. So, Homo sapiens does an invention, and he grabs the hafting. Attaching a stone point to a handle or shaft can greatly increase its damage and range. Early hafting used glues. Okay, so we can, first of all, we get the Eureka. So we can bring one more guy from here, and we fulfill the requirement, the menopause. So that means we can now simply take the idea. Okay, so then we could spread, but again, this is a little bit of a trouble. There is no, we have that idea now, but we don't have the technology yet. So there's no way where I could go. And I can see something that I didn't realize actually. Shit. I made a mistake basically. I thought, yeah, great, I got the technology, and then this guy cannot come and try to preach me away basically. Well, that was wrong, because I cannot attack. I don't have the war action. I have to go to politics to have the war action. But this is something I might even consider. Maybe I could do an election and move my ruling class to politics. That might be possible. Okay, so I now have the option. Let me see what I want to do. I mean, I could now either do an artisan action, which would allow me to place this guy, for example, here. And then I think I want to do that. Then I would get the advantage, the Eureka here, from the flint fire starting. That sounds like a cool idea, and I think actually I want to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna jump on him here with an artisan action, which, as I said, allows me to place a single pawn from free will onto the market. Okay, great. So this guy also jumps here on the energy space. Everybody kind of wants that. The +1 energy bonus from the Eureka here, which yeah, and then I'm gonna spread, and I basically, and that's the thing, because I have so little energy, I could not bring another guy here, right? So I kind of have to move 1, 2, 3, and that actually now means I'm sitting here. So I kind of made it across Beringia here, and yeah, in the next action I could go here, and then maybe, who knows? I could still get trapped there, but right now it doesn't seem that too many people are challenging the gods. They're all still kind of improving their stuff, and nobody is willing to kind of spend their elders here, right? This is, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Probably not. So, yeah, the Neanderthal is actually thinking about, I think he's gonna do some art pretty soon, but first he also will do the invention. So he jumps on this one too, because kind of everybody says, okay, this gives us basically a free, this brings us to kiln pottery, so 1 additional energy, but it's his action, so that helps the others basically. And then I think I want to do this action. This is an art action. And it moves one guy from here to my free will. Now, do I really want to do that? Honestly, I'm not so sure anymore. I don't know. I thought I had an artisan action, but I don't have that. So otherwise I could have placed then, damn it. This is a tough call. But I think, my other option is I could go here on this one. Because someone will go there probably if he fulfills the requirement of the 4 energy. Then someone will go on the pit fired oven, and that will allow him to get. That's a very strong card for this person. So honestly, I could also go there. I cannot take the card, but I could instead say I take the Eureka, which brings me 1 space up in metallurgy, but it costs me 2 actions to take that, and other people might also be able to jump on it. Although maybe not. I don't know. Metallurgy is really important if someone attacks you, or if you want to attack, because it's simply who has the higher metallurgy wins. So that means simply if you have the most, nobody can attack you, which is awesome. But, damn it, I really don't know. On the other hand, I don't get a card, I just get the Eureka, and it costs me 2 actions. So, I don't know. Okay, I think I'm simply going to leave it here. Keep my 2 guys. I'm really not sure what to do. I feel already kind of stuck here. So maybe I should change something, right? But then I'm vulnerable to his preaching efforts. But right now he cannot reach me well, he could. He could go here, and from here he could go... Oh no, that's not good. I don't want to take that risk. I think I'll leave it the way it is. Okay, great. And, well, I cannot spread out, obviously. So, yeah, it feels like I'm kind of stuck here, but... Okay, that's the way it is right now. So, and then it's the Hobbit again, and he seems to be, although he's so small on the board, he seems to be in a pretty promising position. Because what he can do now is he can now actually challenge the gods, and the problem is we come to this in a second. I want to do it now. The first time I'm going to do it, I'm going to challenge the gods. So I'm going to draw a card. The top card here. And that looks like the perfect card for the Hobbit. We're lucky here. Anyways, first of all, we have now these events. That's what happens first. This is a forestation. So you got some climate change, which is mostly the case in the early epoch. So forestation means you take a desert, which is perfect for me. I can take a desert and place it somewhere where there is a green circle. So I could now cut off these guys, for example. Do I want to do that? Maybe. I could also place it here, and kind of protect me from this crazy preacher here. Um, and honestly, I think for now this is something I could see that I want to do that. I think I'm going to place this thing here, because now he cannot move along here anymore, because these are now both uninhabitable, so he cannot make that movement. And this is also blocked for now. So even if he gains now some maritime or something, he cannot invade Australia anymore because of the jungle. At least for now, that could be helpful. So yeah, that's fine. And on the other hand, I got now the desert here. This is free. That allows me a little more, that gives me a little more room here. So that wasn't bad at all. Then there is the liver fluke. Okay, let's see what that is. This is a disease, and a zoonotic disease, and it says player with footprint stages greater than immunology become affected. Now I think right now everybody is at 1 in both areas, so that doesn't really matter. And then now this card is auctioned. After the events applied, the card will be auctioned. And basically, simply everybody makes a bid, and the others have to bid higher to take the card. And the currency are elders. So I will simply bid 1 elder now. I have to bid, and everybody can only do 1 bid, by the way. It's just 1 bidding round, and then the highest bidder wins. And the others don't have more than 1 elder, so they cannot go higher. So that makes me automatically the winner of the bid, and I don't even have a disadvantage because the others helped me to get this card. So that maybe it wasn't that clever from them to go there, but on the other hand, they get the additional energy too. So I was a little bit lucky here. Actually, I was quite lucky, because I fulfill the requirements for this card, the menopause. I can put it in my industrial thing, and in addition to that, it's not a religious card. Some cards are religious. They have a kind of a star here, just like this one. And then, if it would have been such a card, the other guys could have augmented their bid by adding their mysticism pawns. And then, well, they could have overbid me. So it was a very lucky card for me, but this is challenging the gods, you know, sometimes you're lucky. Okay, so I'm gonna bid 1, the others can't. So I gotta pay 1 guy, it goes back into my free will. And then I take the card, and I can, it's a Eureka effect. So first of all, I can bring this guy here into mysticism, because that's a prayer. I fulfill the requirement, and then I place the card now here underneath my tableau at the bottom, basically. Let's do it like this. Okay, great. And that means now that this is called a foundation. And yeah, this is simply an additional action. Now, during revolutions, foundations can don't go away, while idea cards can. So if I would change my ruling class now, the foundation will simply stay here. And that's a good thing, probably. So in addition, I get 1 more diversity point. So that means I'm now here. And it also gives me room for 1 more dissident, which is also great. My society is now a little more stable. I don't see revolutions that fast, at least I hope. Oh, and maybe I want to read that. So it says, male paternal investment is the father's expenditure of time or energy benefiting his offspring at a cost to his own fitness and is thus a form of reproductive success. Okay. Yep. So that was the first thing. That was the challenge of the gods. And now we basically start the turn. And now I can start with the lowest action, which is another migrant action, as you can see. And well, I think I want to simply go here. There is not a lot of other spaces where I can go. And then I could now do an invent action. And I think I want to do it. I mean, why not? We all get... I mean, I could also do a specialize action, right? And wait till someone else does the fire starting. It doesn't hurt me. Maybe that's actually what I want to do. I don't really need the energy right now. So maybe I want to go somewhere else. Actually, I think I want that card. The Artisan here is a pretty good card. And also maybe, yeah, the prospect action, which allows me to build a city, isn't that great because there's a lot of, I could maybe someday here, right? The pearls, but I need to raise my maritime. But anyways, I think I want that card. Yeah, why not? So the Artisan is definitely pretty good. So I'm going to take this back now into my free will, and everybody else does the same. And we all get the Eureka of one more energy, so we can do all now the kiln pottery. But I get the card, the flint fire starting. Percussion fire making produces high temperature sparks by striking iron pyrite or marcasite against flint. Let's say the Iceman used a tinder fungus that, if hammered flat, turns into something like what? Like felt that. Okay. Smolders for hours, allowing fire transport. Like felt that smolders for hours, allowing fire transport. Okay, great. I'm going to get this idea. And I can have two ideas because I have art and symbols. So therefore, I'm fine with that. The others who are still only at storytelling, they can only have a single idea, right? Okay. So then I could spread a second time because I got two spread actions now, but well, there's no room for that. So I guess instead I got now the choice. Do I want to have another elder, or do I want to increase this? I think I want to go to alphabet first. That allows me to now move two elders with three elders with a specialized action, and I can only have a third idea now. But I cannot move any further with this card, with this action, because it shows a 3, so that's the maximum possible. With the last card now, I can do this last action here, which is an artisan. So I can take one of these guys and place him somewhere. So where do I want to go? Let me see. I might say, okay, I go to the pit-fired oven. But I cannot take the card, but the Eureka effect might be nice. So maybe that's what I want to do. You know, I think I go to the Fire Stick Farming. That's a pretty good card. It pushes up my footprint, which will allow me to, that each hex can then basically carry 2 map tokens. That's good because I'm very limited in space. But it will also allow me to build cities via cultivate. Via the cultivate action, I could go for this stuff here, eel. I don't even know what that is, or the cook banana. And I could take these 2 and build cities there. So yeah, that, and also the krill here, right? So there are definitely options where I could go. No, actually I cannot go here because this is uninhabitable, but I could go here or there, and I definitely love to do that. So the Sapiens is a little stuck here. I don't really know what to do. The problem is I only have a single guy in free will, and I don't really see a future where to go or what to do right now. You know, I could jump here on this one, get the Eureka, which is nice, but in the end, is it a big advantage? I don't know, actually. I'm behind when it comes to mysticism, where the first scoring is, so that's also not that great. What can I do? This one, well, the problem is I can only have a single idea right now because I'm only at information of 1. I'm even considering exchanging, do an election, move to politics, because then I could use the other side of this idea. I could still increase my metallurgy by 1. So I could go to war, but I could also use the art action and bring this guy out here, and in this way go to bring 1 more guy to free will. Maybe that's a good idea. I really don't know, but I think maybe that's what I want to do. At least this gives me some, maybe an option or something. So I think I want to do that revolution. And right now there is, I'm going to do the election. So there is not that much I can do right now. There's not that much happening because simply, usually during an election, you take all your elders from the market back. Well, there is no elder, so I don't have to do it. And then sometimes there are problems if you have dissidents, so if you have any migrants in here, you will suffer different types of losses, and you know, but in this case it's a very clean thing. We simply move this thing over here with the election, and then the idea that was here before kind of changes and goes here now. With this, I could have also gone to culture, by the way, but then I could not have taken the idea with me. And I think I want that idea. This hafting is not a bad idea. So we go there, and yeah, the reason I want to do that is because of this, basically because of this art action, right? I need another elder, and I don't know, maybe I have no clue if I really should do that. But yeah, you know, it feels like I'm kind of stuck, so maybe a change somehow helps. Okay, so that was the election. Then I can do a spread action, and you know, where do I want to go? I don't really know, to be honest. Um, I guess I could spread here. The reason is because now, with my last action, I can go to war. And I will. So I'm going to move 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to make an attack on this guy. And we both die because we have the same metallurgy. So, okay, we both die. But, so maybe that wasn't a great idea. I don't know, man. Anyways, we both die. So that means now that these victims also cause dissidence in my, yeah, they're not happy about that their family died, you know, so that means we have dissidents now, and we have only room for one. So we got to place this guy here, and this guy is placed here, because we both suffered casualties, and they're both not happy about that. Okay, the advantage for me is I learn basically from that, and my metallurgy goes up 1 space. So I'm now in the Chalcolithic age. Okay. And this is it. Was that such a great action? Honestly, I have no clue. But I really didn't know how to... Wait, I didn't even place this guy, did I? So I think I wanted to do that. I think I want to bring this guy somewhere into the game. No, I did the elect action instead. Okay, so I cannot do that. Okay. Let's see what this guy can do. So the Denisovan guy, he can expand like crazy. But, you know, it's a little dangerous now. Someone has a higher... And by the way, that was the wrong guy. This one should be here. Someone has a higher metallurgy, so there is definitely now some danger from here. I mean, he's pretty far away right now, so he's not in range, but it can go quickly. And yeah, I also have a feeling I really need a second elder, so I'm considering maybe also moving one guy from here. I get a feeling that it will take a while until we actually come to the first scoring. So maybe right now we don't need that many mysticism. It feels like my preaching is kind of over. Nobody is really within reach right now. So I don't really need that preaching possibility anymore. I think what I prefer now is I want to go here. The Pit-Fired Oven is a fantastic card. It allows me to increase my metallurgy as a Eureka, but also under certain other circumstances. I can increase my energy. I have an artisan action. That sounds all pretty interesting to me. So I guess I want that. And I will have to discard this because I only have a single... I'm still at 1 when it comes to my information, so that's definitely also a problem that I have to cope with someday. Okay, great. As a second action, I can spread. And again, I have to kind of walk down here, you know. I cannot really... So it's 1, 2, 3. So I got to walk here. But that's okay, you know. I'm sitting here now. And yeah, I'm close to, you know, I mean, there is always an option to block me here, but now I'm sitting here in this new continent. No, actually, I can walk now 4 spaces. So I can bring a second guy in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. So we arrived in America. That is fantastic. That's great news. So, and as my last action, I want to do an art action, and I'm gonna move one of these Mr. Pawns now back into free will. I want a second elder option. I think that will help me on the long run. Okay, the Neanderthal. So I think I want to actually go here and get another metallurgy. This is very important. Metallurgy is super important. So I don't want to fall behind there too much. Yeah. I gotta make sure that I get at least the Eureka effect. And, well, we can spread again. Simply move back here, 1, 2, 3. I think probably end up here, but that's fine, I guess. And then I think I'm also considering using my, oh no, okay, I could not do it then. But I think I'm not gonna spread. Instead, I will use my art action and also try to produce a second elder. I think that's more important now than spreading. So I'm gonna move this guy back from mysticism to free will. You know, we really want to move on there, and we need a couple of more elders in the game. I think that's very important for me. Okay, great, and then it's the Hobbit again. So he cannot spread, but he can invent. So he takes this thing and grabs himself the fire stick farming. He can take 3 ideas. He is there. He also fulfills the requirement in energy. So he takes the fire stick farming, which means he gets a Eureka. He moves 1 step ahead in footprint, so he's now a wandering herdsman, from a hunter-gatherer to a wandering herdsman. And it says here, Aborigines of the Americas and Australia used fire to retool the landscape favorable for elk, deer, bear, and kangaroo. This ecological management changed dry forests into savannas and is the leading theory on what caused the Pleistocene megafauna extinction. So it fits perfectly. These guys are now on a rampage in Australia, and they get this additional idea over here. And really, they are doing perfectly, right? They might be just sitting here, not that many folks, they don't control the earth or half the earth or whatever, but they are doing so great. Their civilization is really flourishing here. Okay, then they can build a city or spread. Now the question is, can they build a city with this prospect action? No, they can't, because they don't fulfill any of the requirements here. So that's not going to happen. They can create, with this abstraction. The abstraction is such an amazing action. They can create another elder here. This is so awesome. And then they can now use the artisan action, which allows them to place a single elder somewhere, which is also great, right? So they might say, hey, I'm just going to place one guy here. It doesn't hurt me at all. And that gives me a free advantage in metallurgy. So I'm going to go there. And then last I can use this action here, which means this one here, which means cultivation. So I can now actually start building cities. Cultivation allows me to basically build cities in one of these white areas here. So you know what? I'm actually thinking about using a spread action. I can easily spread down here now, and then I can now use a cultivation action, and I can build a city here. In this eel, it seems, whatever that is. So yeah, I'm gonna remove the migrant and simply place a city instead on this thing, and that's it. And yeah, that allows me now to, I mean, also because I got a footprint of 2, I wouldn't have to be afraid of having now more 2 guys in a hex. But apart from that, this city doesn't touch these 2 hexes, so therefore I'm just fine, you know. Everything is great, and yeah, I'm doing perfectly there. Of course, and look at that. These guys ended up using their priests for better use, you know. They needed to get elders and stuff. So I'm not even behind anymore over there. I'm just doing perfectly, while all the others are just sitting on a single idea. That's an impressive development here. There's no doubt about that. Okay, I think at this point I'm gonna stop here, and I want to load this up. Yeah, hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.